Yo, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you some Scrim gameplay, and I'm going to be commentating over some parts to help you guys get better at Scrims. I'll be talking in the parts that I think I need to be talked, and then the rest of the part you guys can just sit there and watch the gameplay and learn from. So I'll be back whenever I have a part I need to talk about. Alright, so right here I heard this guy, so I started taking high ground. But high ground's not always the first option, but since I knew he was on low ground, I just easily took high. And then I noticed he had a pump, so I didn't want to play too aggressive, so I was just going for like easy shots. As you can see, I'm about to edit right down. I hit him pretty hard, and then I knew he was low, so I wouldn't, like, I just was going for like a push play. I wasn't trying to like build anymore. As you see, I just took glider redeploy. Having rotation in Scrim games is very essential to being able to survive. If I wouldn't have took that, I probably would have died. There's situations where you just need to not either fight the person or just not get literally just like beamed by the person. You need rotation to not get stuck in zone when you're rotating late game. making sure you have max every material in game modes like this, where it's not that hard to get max every material, is literally like so worth it, because you have 90% of the people you go against try to get into build battles, and you're going to lose a lot of your mats. So it's essential to make sure you have enough mats to keep fighting. Alright, so at this point I saw this guy and I didn't want to build too much, but he kept going. But as you can see, I'm building with metal here, which is a smart play because he's building with wood. If I would be building with wood at the end of the fight, I wouldn't get his wood because he would have used it all, and then I would be out of wood as well. So if I use metal and he has metal that he did not use at all because he's using his wood, then I will get my metal back from him. I made a nice play. If I had spike traps, I would have had him, and then he was on low, so I made an aggressive play and not try to like keep building. Barely got him though. He had some pretty nice shots. As you can see, my metal went back up almost all the way, and I could just farm easily back up to the max metal that I needed. That's very key, to use your metal against someone that's using wood when you know you can get your metal back. At this point there was 2 planes coming at me, so I knew I had to dip. Wasn't trying to fight, but he did kind of injure my plane a little bit, so my whole plan was just to dip. I was kind of upset that I got hit by that plane because I had to pop another mini, but the reason I stopped here in the first place was to farm up my metal because I was only at like 470. I wanted to be max, and then it was actually good that I stopped because I saw a crate drop that actually gave me an RPG. If you see crate drops in this game, like in a Scrim game, and they're not contested, it's very worth going for because you can get Rift to Goes, which I got in this launch pad, any sort of rotation or really good item to use late game like my RPG. Ended up getting more minis that I needed, so it was actually really worth it. Crate drops are really good. If you have a plane in Scrim games like I do right now, it's actually very, very good. You can literally just wait most of the game just up in the air, and a lot of people won't shoot at you. I just shot this guy. I could have not shot him, but I didn't know what he was going to do, so I just started beaming his plane to make sure that I wasn't playing around. But usually you can just sit up in the air, and if you're at the max, the people on the ground cannot hear your plane, so they won't look up randomly and see your plane, so you can just chill up there the entire time, not get into any fights or anything. Right here I got beamed, So it was actually smart that I saw that big pot when I flew by, because after I got beamed I realized I could just swoop in real quick, because he was pretty far away. Plus he hit a rift, so I could literally just swoop in, pop that big pot, and be back up at full shield. So it was actually pretty good. If I didn't have any a rift to go, I could have took that glider redeploy as well. But then I just hopped back in my plane, because planes are like, you could use your plane as much as you can until it's about to break. That's what I did. As you can see right here, going up to max height makes your plane stall, which is also a good strategy, because I'm barely moving at all, so I can easily stay in the circle and not move at all just by stalling my plane, and then just pick it back up and just keep stalling it. And that's all you have to do, just to stay in the circle and be less loud, and then won't be attracted by the enemies to fight. But there ended up being someone who just kept spraying me. You'll see later in the video. Kind of a douchebag move. As you can see, this is when I started getting shot, and he didn't hit me at all, but my plane was super low, and I didn't feel like getting hit, so I just dipped. It wasn't worth like trying to stay up in the air. And I found a pretty good, decent spot right here on the mountain. I had a lot of metal. I could just build it easy one by one, which is what I did. And it wasn't far in the middle of the circle, so the possibility of it being in the next circle wasn't very big, so I only made it one. Usually if you have a big chance of being in the next circle, you can expand out and have multiple regions to peek and defend from. And I also was shooting at this guy's plane because it's also very key if you know there's planes in the air to get them out, because at any point they could jump, land on you, or use that as an easy rotation, or just completely crash into you and destroy your base that you used all your mats for. So I made sure I made him get out of his plane. Very smart play. This is also a really good strategy. I floor cone and then use the cone to peek. You don't even have to have a floor, but I just use that in case I started getting sprayed from behind. It would be a little bit of more protection. And then I realized I wasn't in a circle, so I realized no one was around me. This would be a good opportunity to rotate. Found another little mini mountain in the circle, and that's where I'm going to go set up. And it's also pretty late in and kind of near the middle of the circle, so as you can see, I'm about to build my base, multiple layers, different peeking angles, so it's also harder for the enemy to detect which base I'm in and target that base. So this is kind of a risky play then to open the farm, but I knew it was gonna be worth it, and it ended up freaking this dude just jumps out of the back of the truck. I didn't even see him at first, so I was being like a bot. Missed my RPG, but ended up killing him. And then he gave me my medal all the way back, so I was good then. And then I saw extra rockets that I couldn't like reload into my rocket launcher, so instead of just letting them sit there, I was gonna shoot them and make it so the enemy player had to waste more mats. Better for me. And then I went back to my base, and I actually stopped here because it was getting naded, so I didn't want to run into the danger zone and get hit. So I waited till he stopped firing and then went back. and realized he could have pushed for high ground, so I pushed for high ground. You'll see. Just make sure it's secure. Use this as my stair, and then yeah, I'm back on high. And I just make sure I have my back blocked so I don't get shot, which is actually very smart because you could get sniped. If you get sniped in the head, game's over. You don't want to make sure you don't just get sniped one time, lose the whole game. So I made sure I was safe. Also, peeking a lot, and this could be very good or very bad. If you get completely beamed or targeted, your peeking's not very smart. But if no one's like trying to peek or no one else is peeking, you can easily peek, chip some people's shield off, or get easy kills because it's 3-5-7 in solos. So if you can just pick off a couple kills near the end, it's easy points. So that's what I was trying to do. Once again, this lobby was very passive. No one was really trying to shoot each other. Everyone was just playing it super safe. So then I took this opportunity to rotate early because no one was going to shoot at me. So I started rotating a little early, which is pretty good for no one else shooting. As you'll see, I'll start rotating a little bit right here. Start rotating. And no one's near me, so I got the easiest rotation ever. And I set myself right up in the middle of the circle where it's easy to rotate. If the circle moves whatever direction, it's easy for me to rotate from, because if I chose like a far circle and it goes to the other side of the circle, then it's gonna be hard for me to rotate. So I chose right in the middle and made a secure base. Once again, I did the pyramid strategy. You just put the pyramid on top of yourself, and it's very secure. Right here I realized this guy was breaking the wall, so I took the opportunity to spray, catch him off guard. Then I realized he was built out of wood, so it's easy for me to destroy his whole base and make him rebuild. So that's what I did. I ended up using my RPG to break his whole base. He starts panicking. I guess he had no idea what was happening. So he actually tries running at my base. I don't know. I just beam him, and I knew he was low. So whenever he connected to my base and made it secure, I knew I had to try to make a play here. Make one less player in the lobby, so I replaced the pyramid, replaced the floor, edit it, and then pump him. And then I just take his mats and his ammo and stuff. And as you can see right now, the circle is very far out of the circle that we're in right now. So I just wait for the very last second to use my rift, which will get me maximum height, which will give me more time to get a good landing spot in the circle while it's shifting. So I wait till the last second, end up trying to do this, but I end up failing, which is actually could have cost me the game, but it didn't. I end up losing 40 health from the storm. Picked up the glider redeploy in case I needed to use it for rotation. And during these rotations, you always want to pull your glider like right off the start. Just slowly glide down, because I would launch down like normal, I'd be in the wide open in a crossfight. Wouldn't want to get beamed, so I just stay up in the air. No one's looking up in the air. They're all trying to focus on getting to the circle. Got one other player with me, so that's all I have to focus on right now is this guy floating, because he sees me, and if I land near him, he could easily beam me because he landed first. So I made sure I didn't land near him, and I ended up landing on high, dropped down because it wasn't in circle. And at this point I realized everyone else, except for this guy that was right next to me, was running from storm, so I could take high and then contest with my RPG, which I did, got one, and he got the other, and then it was a 1v1. Didn't know what his health was, so I was just going to spray since I had plenty of rockets. And then I end up tagging him. Whenever I shoot this RPG, I tag him with my AK and find out he's actually white health, so I keep going aggressive. I could have played it safe and went for rotation, but I knew he was low, so I RPG'd and sprayed right afterwards. Got the kill, got the dub. Yeah, it was a pretty good game. If you like these videos where I help you get better at scrim games or rotation or anything like that, don't forget to leave a like and comment down below, and I'll keep making these videos. I enjoy them a lot. They're very fun. So, peace.